Greetings and welcome back, gentlemen and ladiesmen, to whatever episode number this is of Exo and Ryrule play Sonic Adventure.
Now, Exo, I don't know about you, but I sure do got the strangest feeling of deja vu.
Okay, let's go. Whoa, what do you mean?
Call it a hunch. I feel as if we've done something similar to this before.
So I don't know what, just, before we get to that, because I know where Ryan's going with that, you can see those black stripes on the sides of the frame there. I don't know what it is, if, like, the back porch is different on, the FMV cutscenes, like, you know, the analog back porch, for those in the know. Just the positioning within the analog frame, if that's different, or if that part of the... Yeah, that's supposed to be there. I'll explain that in a second. And there's a reason for it.
I don't know why I was given this job, why it was my fate.
But yeah, for some reason the CG cutscenes, the placement in the 640 by 40 frame is different. But yeah, you could notice that I added these timers here. And this is something where I'm only going to be doing for the Knuckles playthrough. And my reasoning is to show just how bad the pacing is within these scenes.
Oh my god!
So every time in the middle of a cutscene where a character is not talking, I have added these timers to show just how long, how much time will pass in between lines.
Who are you?
That is fucking brilliant!
Oh, I'll get you for this.
Like, I did something similar in the review. Actually, I think it was the SA2 review where I was... Now, to be fair, SA2 has a different problem, where characters will often talk over each other.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Are you sure?
I totally wasn't making a joke.
Oh, okay. Because it's just like, you say, Tails, I found the central control room!
Come back here!
Sonic, come back here with the emerald if you ever want to see your girlfriend alive again! Sorry, Tails, I couldn't hear that! What was that? Tails! And it just cuts out, you know, like, people just talk over each other. That's a different problem entirely, and that is a problem.
Well,
But
I always thought the part where Sonic is like, when he gets cut off when saying Tails, I thought that was always supposed to be like a dramatic thing. It's like, oh, they're taken hostage! Oh.
I think what it is those cutscenes were paced with the Japanese dialogue in mind. And with the English dialogue, it just made the scenes come off as a little crowded, I guess.
Yeah.
But what I think it is with Sonic Adventure 1 is that they had to divvy up all the lines into individual voice clip files on the disc. Because, by the way, the Dreamcast screeches like a banshee whenever it reads anything.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I noted that in the review. But, yeah, you could just see... Oh, by the way, I forgot to show off Knuckles' tutorial, which is ironic because him and Big are the reasons why I wanted to show those tutorial things off to begin with.
We have to restart the entire playthrough. We have to start from Sonic again.
Yeah, thankfully you can just go back to the menu and view it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like if you want just a little bit of extra help with figuring out how the playstyles work, these instruction tutorials are here. They are also in SA2 in all versions. Well, in the Dreamcast and GameCube versions, they work differently than they do in the Steam and PS3 versions, you know. We'll be sure to talk about that when we play that game someday. So the reason that I included those timers is, even though this Knuckles playthrough only took me about an hour in total, including the credits and everything, it felt like I could have watched the entirety of Infinity War in the time it took.
Oh my god!
And that movie's like 3 times as long as it took me to beat this.
2 hours and 33 minutes.
Yeah. And, you know, there are some movies that are long that just don't feel their length because you're so entertained, you know, and engrossed. And Infinity War is a fine enough movie. I probably like it more than I've let on in this playthrough so far. But it's pretty much, this is my biggest criticism with Sonic Adventure 1 compared to 2, and the big reason why I just cannot understand I kind of understand people's preferences for it, but it's the biggest reason why I will never agree with that, is that the pacing in this game is absolutely atrocious. So for one thing, we have 6 different playstyles that all repeat a bunch of the same things over and over again. Cutscenes, levels, what have you. But, that would be fine enough, but the cutscenes, especially in the Dreamcast where you can't skip them. So this is another reason why Better SADX is the way to go. You get all the advantages of the Dreamcast version with skippable cutscenes and a better frame rate and all that good stuff. So that's definitely the version I would most recommend you go play.
On top of that, you can also choose which kind of character models you want. Like, you can choose the more, I guess in comparison, the Dreamcast models are like more chibi-like, and then the DX port, they're more proportioned. You can choose between which one you want.
I think the GameCube version changed Knuckles' gliding sound effect to the SA2 one. Because if you listen to Knuckles glide in this game, it's a different sound effect. Then you play the GameCube version and it's the gliding sound effect from SA2.
This one sounds like as if it's in a lower pitch, if that's what you mean.
Well, it is a different sound effect. Like when you play the second game, it's like a continuous sound effect, It's like, but in this game, when you glide, it plays the sound effect for like a few seconds and then it goes away, even if you continue to glide. So
that's not something I even noticed.
Yeah, that is something I picked up on when I was playing Knuckles here again.
Well, you see, it's just another reason why Sonic Adventure 2 is so bad, because when you glide as Knuckles, it makes a continuous sound. Just like when you play as Tails, it makes that loud beeping noise, and I don't like the beeping noise. Beep, 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 beep.
Hold on, Sonic! I'll save you from that orca! Hurry up and close the gate, Tails! Okay, so another thing I noticed, because I recorded, what I was originally going to do was record Knuckles, Amy, Gamma, just, basically record the rest of the game in one go, just so that I didn't have to bother with it. But I was so bored during this Knuckles playthrough that I just couldn't do it.
Oh my gosh.
So I dropped the game for a day and recorded Amy like the next day.
Oh my gosh.
But now, for the record, that's not because I hate Knuckles' gameplay, and to get into what Ryan was bringing up earlier, I did that special treasure hunt series of videos on treasure hunting in SA2, and Ryan and I did an episode together. By the way, I find that the frame rate in Knuckles' playthrough is pretty bad. It goes below 30 quite a bit during his levels on the Dreamcast.
Yeah, I'm seeing it right now.
And I have not altered or attempted to make the Dreamcast version look worse than it is. I recorded it in 30 FPS, and this is what I got.
There was a guy who did that for Breath of the Wild. He was making a video about it, and he was trying to hate on it, and he added a bunch of he added a bunch of effects to the video that made the frame drop. And it's just you could tell that it was fake. I'm like, bruh, why would you fucking do that? I don't get it.
And it's the worst part is that he probably didn't even need to do that. You just need to walk around in the Zora City. Seriously, the performance in Breath of the Wild is shockingly bad for 2017.
It's not that bad.
If it was any other game other than Zelda, it would be considered the worst thing. But I digress.
You're probably not wrong.
Yeah, if it was a Metal Gear game or a Sonic game, God forbid.
No, I don't think Metal Gear, if Kojima was making it, if it was post-Kojima, then yeah.
God, what's a good example?
Sonic.
Yeah, Sonic. If Sonic Forces had run at 30 FPS, and then had frame drops on top of that, it would be considered the worst thing.
I mean...
But I suppose, even then, that's not a good example, because 60 FPS is just kind of expected for the series.
Well, it's not even that, it's that even the Switch version of Sonic Forces runs at 30.
Yeah. But that's, all things considered, the Switch is kind of weak sauce. That's another conversation entirely, but Ryan and I previously did a 1 part long, like I did kind of an, I don't know, maybe people got something out of it, but kind of a series of videos on SA2 treasure hunting, where I talked about kind of optimal strategies and ways that you can make it easier, and was trying to kind of measure and compare what it would be like for an inexperienced player versus, you know, someone using my strategies. Didn't really go anywhere because ultimately it kind of relied on a bunch of assumptions and was just like, and it was just something at the end that I didn't want to finish. Those videos are still up, but as part of that, Ryan and I together, I'd had a bunch of guests on, and I had Ryan guest on an episode where I did all of the Knuckles treasure hunting levels in one video. And yeah, they are much shorter than the typical SA2 level. And we could talk more about that later on. But, you know, in terms of Knuckles' levels, his actual gameplay, I don't think that they're all that bad at all. Compared to Sonic Adventure 2, they're kind of child's play and way too easy for my liking, but
Kind of.
they're not bad. They're very playable. They're, comparatively speaking, they are definitely more accessible. I can't deny that.
Man, during that playthrough that we did I think it was like last year, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, that was wow.
Yeah, time flies.
It would have been around a year ago at this point.
Yeah. Man, you were like man, this has the depth of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
I think I said it had the depth of a kiddie pool or something like that.
The depth of a kiddie pool.
By the way, at this point, in terms of the NPCs, I find that you don't really find anything new or all that interesting once you've finished Sonic's playthrough. Like, Sonic's playthrough, you've seen all the major NPCs and all the kind of the side plots with them. So by the time you get to the other characters... by the time you get to the other characters, you've pretty much seen everything. They're just kind of saying different variations of what they would have said in Sonic's playthrough. The only real exception is the newsstand lady. Like, she has a couple of different things to say. But yeah, so in terms of Knuckles' gameplay, so Chaos has destroyed the Master Emerald, and if you played Sonic 3 Knuckles, you will know what that is. It's the big green emerald that Dr. Eggman used to power the Mega Robotnik Robo. I'm sorry, the Mega Robotnik Robo.
There you go.
And you gotta say it right. But Chaos has destroyed it and shattered it into a bunch of shards. And your goal in this playstyle is to you kind of run around these open sandbox kind of areas. So it's a little bit closer to something like Mario 64 than the main game. And you're running around searching for the 3 pieces of the emerald. And obviously you've got this radar at the bottom of the screen that will glow different colors as you get closer to it. And yeah, and unlike with Big, I have actually played all of Knuckles' missions.
Good enough.
And I believe... trying to remember what they were. I can't remember what the B missions were, but I'm pretty sure that the A missions are you have to beat the level in less than a minute, which is not actually that difficult for most of them. It's a little bit different in the case of Lost World, which is one of the later stages. But as you can see, I comfortably beat that level in about a minute, and you know. And yes, the radar in this game is a lot more... First of all, it'll locate all 3 shards at once, and there are more states to the radar itself.
Here before.
Which makes it easier to... Which makes it a lot easier to clear these levels. And the levels themselves are pretty goddamn small for the most part.
Strange.
Red Mountain's probably my favorite level of the bunch, and that one's easily the biggest. That one's pretty much the size of, like, Pumpkin Hill from the second game. But all the other ones are pretty small. Yeah. By the way, Knuckles just got transported to an Echidna society, and, like, this is his tribe, the Knuckles tribe. To Tikal, we've met her before, and her father, Pachamak, are part of this tribe. This is the tribe that has the Master Emerald, and it's the reason why Knuckles has to guard it. This is on Angel Island and all that. And Knuckles doesn't seem to care all that much about the fact that he has been reunited with his tribe, even if he's dreaming. Which seems like kind of a missed opportunity, because that's kind of like his pathos, you know? I never knew my own family, my own kind, and now I'm tasked with guarding this emerald, and he just doesn't seem to say anything about it.
But you know something, though? Because, like, I'm looking at this right now, and it just it has me thinking. It's like with this game, with Sonic Adventure 2, with, I think they even did it with Sonic Unleashed, you know, the team would go out to San Francisco, or they would go to parts in South America. They would take pictures, you know, they would actually be inspired to write the game's story, and they would let the environments dictate the kind of story that they are telling. I kind of miss that with the recent Sonic games, because Colors ain't got it, Generations ain't got it, Lost World don't got it, and Forces don't got it either. It's just like, it's just a part of what makes Sonic Sonic to me, you know what I mean? Like, this is what I grew up with. Like, Adventure had it, Adventure 2 had it, Unleashed had it, even though I was significantly older when that game came out. It's just a shame that they don't really do that anymore. So while Knuckles isn't exactly fleshed out, I still at least applaud them for going the extra mile and actually, you know, going out of the way to be inspired.
Yeah. And I don't know what Sonic is doing there, but it looks kind of strange.
He's tapping his shoe!
I wonder what those guys are doing.
And this is the part in that abridged series by Crash and Bash where Knuckles rapes Sonic and Tails by sticking his dick in his mouth and says, "Oh yeah, take it like a chili dog, Sonic."
Jesus Christ.
And it's like I was watching that back then and I didn't think anything of it, but looking back on it now, I'm like, that's not good.
I mean, not to get into it, like, humor has definitely changed from back in the day, in the past 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that abridged series otherwise has a few decent jokes in it. Yeah, the flying physics for Knuckles are pretty fun. And that's another thing. I remember when we did our other video on Knuckles, that I was talking about how... Oh, by the way, look at the timer at the top of the screen.
Hey, it's Dr. Eggman.
Just watch this.
What's he got there?
What's he got there?
It's gotta be a part of the Master Emerald. Hold on! Come back here!
It's like a second every time.
Yeah, so it's like a full second. That doesn't seem like much when you just look at the number, but when you're playing this, and this is like the third character you've played as so far in this game, and this cutscene coming up is no better. It's just... It always seems like it takes at least a second to like 8 seconds between spoken lines of dialogue, and it's probably, like I said, because they could only load so much off of the disc at once. But it's so boring to watch.
Now, Exo, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. I don't know what you're talking about. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. I think it's aged just fine. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi.
Chaos.
Yeah.
You get the idea.
So if I had to pick my poison here, if I had to pick between a cutscene that moves at the pace of molasses, where it takes like a second to 8 seconds between spoken lines of dialogue, and people talking over each other, I'm gonna pick the latter, personally. And it's... like 8 seconds, 9 seconds, and it's like something was technically happening there, but there's so many parts where you're just like watching someone stand in place and do like a repeated animation and nothing's happening, and it's so boring. And it is one of the reasons why I just cannot come back to Sonic Adventure very often anymore. It used to be that I used to be very much with a lot of people that this was one of my favorite platformers. Like, when I was a kid, I absolutely loved this game. I would have defended it to the moon and back. And it was like, for me, it was like SA1 and SA2 were like just both solid games that I just couldn't have picked one. But ever since a few years ago, I think it was like right around the time, like right before I went off to college, like I played this on the GameCube again, and it just, something switched in my head, and I just realized how drawn out and boring this game is. when in terms of like how the cutscenes are paced and how much stuff you have to watch over and over again, and it's just like the gameplay for the most part, like except for Big, he sucks. But even Amy isn't that terrible, really. Like, I had more fun with her recording her playthrough than I'd expected. But it's like all the cutscenes and hub world navigation stuff you got to do in between the levels that are kind of fun, just kind of kills it for me.
I don't really think the hub world navigation's that bad. I mean, I can give you the stories or the cutscenes and the way how it's paced. But I mean,
4 seconds just to watch Knuckles walk forward a bit.
Yeah, but it's like I always said, like replaying this game has never really been that big of an issue for me.
What?
I just find that the game itself, like the way how it actually plays, is incredibly replayable.
So when you replay the game, Ryan,
Yes.
do you usually skip cutscenes, or do you watch them all, or what's your preferred method there?
I watch the ones that I remember the most, like the "Behold my floating masterpiece, the egg carrier." I have my favorites. I have my clips.
I better find
Oh, and yes. So for the most part, you'll skip. If it's like a repeat cutscene, you'd probably skip that. But if it's something really fun that you want to watch again, you'll let it play.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
And with Gamma, I watch the entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because Gamma is best boy.
Yeah, Gab. Now, yeah, and so there are a few things to unpack there. One,
I wonder why
3 of the
Sonic
characters in
is
this
after
game
the
actually do
Master
have pretty
Emerald.
good story arcs, at least conceptually
work fast.
speaking.
One of them is
like
Big.
we'll talk.
This.
No. But Gamma's definitely one of them, and then Amy and Tails, I'd say, would be the others. Where they change and grow as characters over the course of the story.
Yeah.
But once again, the actual execution of the cutscenes kind of undercuts that. We'll talk more about that later, but yeah.